What's going on, guys? We're back at it again with another episode of Team Chats. This is 002. And today we have an interesting topic that we want to dive into, and that is going to be time. I don't have time to work out. Brett, I'm going to give you the floor. Why are we talking about this? Why is this important? And why do you think it was pertinent for us to spend this time diving into it?
Yeah. Just the other day, I was talking with a few other people, just about training clients and other people in our Facebook group and things like that. And I brought it to James and thought that it might be a good idea to maybe address it a little bit here. But yeah, I mean, I hear a lot of the time that I just the age old excuse of I just don't have time to work out. I can't do it. I've got kids, I've got a job, whatever it is. It's just too much to handle, to throw in, exercising on top of all of that. So I thought it would be a fun conversation for us to have and kind of break down, maybe reframe that mindset a little bit and go from there.
When someone says they don't have time, what is it usually in response to for you? Like outside of just like, oh, I don't have time to work out. What is the usual conversation? What does that look like?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of times it's like, I'm genuine, just if I'm just asking, like, what kind of goals do you have? Or like, are you looking to, lose X amount of pounds, or maybe you're trying to gain weight or something like that. And a lot of times it'll just be like, yeah, I would really like to lose 20 pounds, or like, I really just don't like the way I look in the mirror, but I just have no idea how to make the time to do it. I've got a busy job, or I've got it, like I said before, or it's kids, or it's something like that where yeah, time just becomes like I think a lot of times people just they think of exercise as like this hour long or 2 hour long event that they have to do every single day. And it's it can be something as simple as a 20-minute walk, just being active, or just stretching for 5 minutes. People have probably heard me talk about this endlessly on my other social media platforms, but like it can be one push-up. You can do one push-up one day a week. And yeah, over a long period of time, maybe that doesn't make a big change, but maybe you stack that with something else. Maybe you get to a point where you want to do two push-ups, or you want to do a push-up and a squat, and then that stacks. And then you can just push yourself a little bit each day. It doesn't have to be an all or nothing type of thing.
Yeah. And so usually when people say they don't have time, what's your response?
You know, I in my mind, I'm usually just like, I mean, it's just exactly what I said. I mean, like it's if you love your kids, right? Like if your kids are keeping you busy, if that's one piece that's taking a lot of time away from you, what's stopping you from taking your kids with you on a walk? What's stopping you from getting on the ground and maybe doing some push-ups and asking them to come in and join you? Maybe it would excite them to be a part of that. So like that's kind of how I think about it when I think about the kid side of the excuse, right? Or maybe it's at work. Maybe if you have an extra 5 minutes to stand up, stretch, take a breather, like what's stopping you from taking 5 minutes doing those, like, what do we call it? Exercise snacking, where it's like what's stopping you from taking 5 minutes at your desk and doing a couple of squats, or maybe just stretching a little bit, or go for a quick walk to the water tank and back, or to the bathroom and back, get a couple steps in. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's
And,
usually how it goes.
and these, so I totally get that. These people though that are coming to you or you're talking to in the DMs or from our Facebook group, there's hand raised posts where people are like, hey, I want to learn more about coaching, or I want to maybe explore what it looks like to work with you. And you get to this point in the conversation, right? And they say that they don't have any time, right? What kind of goals do these kind of people usually have?
They're usually, I mean, a lot of times it's the 20 plus pounds, 50 plus pounds. Like they're looking to lose a significant amount of weight. So it's, yeah, I mean, that's a lot of times what I'm seeing.
So they're people that they don't have time to do exercise, but they did have time to gain 20 pounds, but they don't have time to figure out any way that they could help themselves without a coach, but then they don't have time to have the coach help them. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yeah.
Okay. Because here's what I think. I think that you saying that you don't have time is a lousy ass excuse, because it's not necessarily the quantity of time that's the problem. It's the usage of the time that's the problem, right? It's that the priorities are misaligned with what you're voicing is your goal. And so for me, I oftentimes look at people that are saying, hey, I want to lose 20 pounds. I want to lose 40 pounds. I want to lose 60 pounds, but I don't have time to work out. You do have time. You're lying to yourself and you're believing that lie and then passing it to me. But you have to make sure, first of all, that that goal is actually what you want. Because if it's not, you obviously shouldn't use any time at all to reallocate to get there. But I think that we have it jacked up here in the sense that we do spend plenty of time on the things that we love. For some people, it's college football. For some people, it's streaming. For some people, it's gaming. For some people, it's going out and drinking, right? We seem to find time for everything that we love to do, but not the things that are giving us short-term discomfort that we might just be, shown in the mirror every now and again. Or when you talk to a Brett in the DMs or you see something on our Facebook group. And so I think that, first and foremost, and we're going to go through some actionable items here on how you can get over this hurdle. But I think that we've got to call a spade, right? Like, you do have time. You're just allocating it differently. And if you don't want the goal that you're espousing to us, that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that at all. But don't lie to yourself, because it's not only hurting you, but it's hurting those around you. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
So for somebody that truly hey, they're jam-packed. They got work, they got kids, they got a full-time job, they have a house that they own, right? They got to do yard work, laundry, et cetera, et cetera. I mean, what is an actionable way that you usually give to them to find the time in the day to get some movement done?
Something incredibly small. I mean, like, one thing that you've said that I've been using a lot, that it was on one of our group chats or a group meeting or something, is just gamifying your activity. Like find some way to reward yourself for little things. Like, not I've a lot of people will take that out of context, or they'll be like, well, I've done a good job, so I'm going to take a break for a little while. And we've talked about that, where stopping doing the thing that you need to get good at, or that you need to create a habit out of, is not the direction you want to go. But rewarding yourself in a way, like maybe when you go for a walk, that's the one time that you listen to a podcast that you really want to listen to, or it's something that you say to yourself every day at that time that gets you motivated to do it, or you listen to your favorite song, or you watch a TV show on the treadmill while you're doing, getting your steps in or something. Doing something small and then rewarding yourself in a fun way for that one small habit. And then again, eventually, like I said before, those things will stack, because you'll get excited to be doing it and you'll be like, okay, I kind of want to do this more. How do I do this more? And then boom, boom, boom. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I think habit stacking is an important thing to look at, right? And then also associating something positive, right? So habit stacking with something that's positive that you already love in your life with something that you don't necessarily want to be doing. Do the thing you don't necessarily want to be doing first. Reward yourself with the thing that you already do. Now, my recommendation is that you don't reward yourself with more rest, and you don't reward yourself with food. Because if you do any of those things, typically that food is not going to be steak, right? It's going to be high sugar, high fat, and it's going to lead you away from the goals that you actually have. So maybe don't reward yourself with candy or ice cream or Ben and Jerry's or what have you, right? Maybe don't reward yourself with just time off of not doing anything. But I think that habit stacking is extremely important. I think another thing that people could do is just a time study, right? How is it that somebody, right? And there's someone in my mind, I'm not going to say her name because I respect her privacy, but how is there someone in my life, right? That's a single mom that has one kid that works full time, that has no help for daycare, right? Kid is below the age to go to preschool. How can she find a way to work out once, maybe twice a day, work a full-time job, run her house, and take care of the kiddo? Yet people you and I's age, right, 25 to 35, can't find any time in the day to go walk for 30 minutes.
Right.
Most people just don't know how they're spending their time. Or they know how they're spending their time, but they don't necessarily want to shine a flashlight on it, because when they do that, you can't avoid it. It's that whole, I can plead ignorant if I don't know, right? Oh, I can be naive if I don't see, right? Let me put blinders on and not pay attention. And that could be a metaphor for many things going on in life these days. But I think that a time study will work. Hormozy, Alex and Layla, both talk about this being a massive productivity hack, right? Jesse Itzler, right? All Day Running Co. Another one, that has said many, many, many times, you don't know where your hours are going. You don't know where your minutes are going. You don't know where your days are going. And because of that, you don't know where your future is. Like at the end of the day, if you have no idea where you're spending your time, then you have no idea what the future is going to look like. And if you're a betting man or woman, excuse me, I think I'd rather place more money on the bet that I know is going to make it there, right? Or the person that knows what the heck they're trying to do with their life, what they're trying to accomplish, how they're spending their time. So for me, outside of the habit stacking, you got to know, you got to have awareness, right? Doesn't mean that you go, hell in a handbasket over here and you go 0 to 3,000% out of nowhere and you start working out 2 times a day and you meal prep everything and you cut down to 3 food groups and you go keto, low carb, intermittent fasting, vegan, hang from your dick from the tree. Like you don't need to go that crazy. Okay. Maybe just pick something that you can play within the parameters of. But realistically, something is better than nothing. 1 is always greater than 0, right?
Mm-hmm.
So like something is always better than nothing. Right?
Yeah.
One more thing that you would recommend that people do or people could potentially do that might be able to help them out. Well, third action item here. So we got habit stacking, right? Something positive on that they already like on top of something they're trying to do. We've got time study. What's a third?
I would say kind of similar to what we talked about last episode, and that is and this is something I have to remind myself of all the time, and that is to stop focusing on the outcome, start focusing on the habit itself. The process is the reward. It's not the finish line. If the process is the reward, then every single day is the finish line. So keep working at it every day, keep pushing through. You have to remind me of that all the time. I have other coaches that remind me of that. I'm not perfect either, and I understand that it can be difficult, but that's one big piece that I think has been huge for me is that the only way around it is through it.
Yep. That's very timely, Brett. That's very, very timely today.
Incredibly, yes.
Yeah. So, and I think that the way that you get to a place where you focus on the process, you focus on the process goals, right? And we implement this in coaching all the time. I know that you have habit tracking, right? Day over day, just like I do, right? Maybe it's weight, maybe it's mobility, maybe it's water, maybe it's protein goal, what have you. You have habit tracking day over day so that we can see the uptrend or downtrend, right? Are we being more accountable or are we being less accountable? Because you need to know how those shifts are happening, right? The goal with having process be the mission and process be the thing that we're tracking, it also puts you in a place where like you can always do something, right? Like you previously said, 1 push-up, 1 squat, 20 minutes walking. Not every day is going to look like you're going to have a 3-hour session. And for most people on most days, it's not going to be that ever. And that's fine, right? If this was your life, if you're trying to go to the Olympics, if you're trying to compete professionally in bodybuilding, if you're trying to do anything at a very high level, you're going to have to sacrifice everything for it. Right? Gen Pop, lifestyle client, you don't need to do that at all. But you do need to do something because your kids deserve your best. The people around you spending time with you deserve your best. And so your best today might not look like your best tomorrow, might not look like your best when a close family member dies. The best on each of those 3 days might look different, but I do need your best regardless. Hey?
Yep. Amen.
That's it, dude. That's it. So for today, that's kind of where we're going to wrap. We are short on time. We got other obligations to jump to, but I hope that was helpful for everyone listening. Time is not the issue. The way that you spend it is, right? And it will take you having awareness before you can game plan to get out of there. But I promise you that shining a little light on it will take the shame away and also put you in a position where you can be a victor, not a victim. You're not a victim to your time unless you allow yourself to be. I promise. We really appreciate y'all. And thank you for listening all the way through. And I hope that you're actually seeing our faces, not listening, because YouTube is better. Right. You got anything else?
No, that's everything, man. If you need any more stuff like this for context or anything, you can check me out on IG, Facebook, YouTube, retro games on Twitch, all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, man. The easiest place to get either of us, though, is to join our Facebook group. It's linked below. It's linked in every video on all TC stuff, on all of my YouTube stuff. That's going to be the easiest place to get all of us. And if you want to reach out to Brett or myself personally, Facebook is probably going to be the easiest way, right? Join our Facebook group and then we can jump in from there. Cool.
Sounds good.
All right. We're going to wrap there. Appreciate y'all. Peace.
Peace.